Hello everyone and welcome to AI Seeking the Truth, guys, where we put most of our off-rail encounters. I've got one to y'all sent in from overseas, and he says he was afraid to send it to us because English is not his first language, and he was afraid that his spelling and stuff wouldn't be good enough, but I convinced him that we didn't care over here and we would not judge him, and that I would read it as best as I could, so we're going to share his encounter, and he wanted everybody to know that these things are not just in, the United States. He listens to our show, and he wanted to share something that he experienced. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it, and I hope you all can maybe help him with it, or, give him some good comments. So, and it's brave of him to try this, so we want to thank you for doing it. Mike, I've been listening to you for a long time. I'm 20 years old and I'm nervous to share this since English isn't my first language, but I hope you enjoy my experience with the paranormal. To start, I was not on any medication as a child. Growing up, I moved frequently and my mom and stepdad eventually decided to settle in a beautiful 2-acre home in South Carolina. The location wasn't too far from other people, but it was just enough to feel somewhat isolated. There was only one way to enter the property, which was through the front gate with a gravel path leading up to the house. The house wasn't old. It was built in the 1980s. Woods surrounded it, and while we had neighbors, they barely lived in their homes. I lived on the second floor, sharing it with my little sister at the time. My room was originally an attic until it was renovated. I felt like whatever it was in that house didn't appreciate the attic was my room. Like it didn't want me living in the attic. I kind of felt like I was imposing and it never wanted the attic to be made into a room. Fast forward to around 2016 or 2017, right when the Instagram introduced live streaming, which unfortunately couldn't be saved, while 12-year-old me was in my daily room, chatting with a few of my friends about whatever kids talked about back then. I saw one of them type, "Who that's standing behind you?" Somebody was asking me, "Who's standing behind you?" I didn't believe it at first. I thought it was just a trick to get me to look around, the generic, "Nah, made you look." Thinking I was clever, I moved a bit to check the camera, and to my surprise and horror, someone was standing right in the dead center of my room behind me, around 8 feet away. To clarify, there was no way a person could have gone to the second floor without me hearing them coming up the creaky steps leading to my room. I was in complete shock, and I had to do a double take, shifting my body in and out of the camera's view. When I realized someone was in my room, I spun around and I saw them. Whatever it was around 6 feet tall, dressed like a full apparition, wearing what appeared to be a long jacket and a hat. If you look up a generic picture of the Hatman, it appears exactly as described. No glowing eyes, just a pure black figure. Even if I didn't see a face, I knew and I felt that it was looking at me. Now, what I did do, did I sit there until it went away? Nope. Fight or flight, and I chose flight. The smartest thing to do was to get up and to run, and I had to run through it with my eyes closed to get away from it, since the only way to turn on the big light was near the stairs. As I did, I looked back, and he was gone. But when I ran through him, I almost felt like I couldn't move until I passed through him. It was a weird feeling, like I was almost paralyzed. To make the story less frightening, I ran downstairs scaring my parents by saying I had a man in my room. My stepdad took a golf club, and my mom followed behind holding a large spoon as her first choice of weapon. In the end, they found nothing. The next day at school, I didn't know what the Hatman was until I told my friends about my experience, and one of them explained it to me. To this day, I swear I know what I saw. That house had so many shadowy figures everywhere. Every person who stayed with me always had an incident, and a lot of people had sleep paralysis. Wow. Yeah, that's one of the scariest things I had ever faced was sleep paralysis. First time I had it, I was probably around 18, and it really, really, really scared me. I've only had it like 3 times in my life, and I prayed it away, and I haven't had it since. But those are terrifying. They absolutely terrify me, and I pray against them all the time. But yes, I understand how scary it is, and thank you for sharing. You've done a really good at writing your story. It was really easy to read. You should send in your other ones. I think you did a great job. Thank you for sending that in, guys. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.